Is it just me, or do you have to be profoundly retarded when it comes to dealing with emails in order to be the presidential nominee on the Democratic ticket? Because y'all remember the servers, which are once again up in the news here again from a last presidential cycle. And now this time around, God love the Post, we got 4 articles open here today in this news story for exposing, well, here's the front page of the Post this morning. Biden's secret emails. Guess what? Hunter, I don't know, man. This is his third strike when it comes to ethics violations. Man, he's really looking at that Justin Trudeau model and thinking that that's a guy I should really emulate. Because, okay, we'll run down what we got here so far for Hunter. What we have is getting a job on an Ukrainian energy board when you lack any sort of abilities or any kind of history in that kind of industry, and also the basic ability to speak Ukrainian. That seems pretty necessary. And then what, about a month or 6 weeks ago, it came out that he took $3.5 million from the ex-wife of the mayor of Moscow and was linked to the sex trafficking industry. And now we have circumstantial proof that he was shopping out his old man's influence in order to raise his standing. But you know what? We got to give Hunter a break. Hunter Biden is good at a lot of things. The dude is great at raw dogging strippers and knocking them up. He is really good at getting that rebound tail from his brother's widow. And we'll get into it, but he's really good at picking hardcore drugs to do. Because this fucker does not mess around. He's like, yeah, weeds for bitches. I love my cocaine and crack formation, son. You know what? Whatever college this fucker flunked out of, the party never stopped. He, in a sick, perverse way, I have a little bit of respect for him, but just what a hunk of shit. He just never grew up. He's that stereotypical black sheep son of the family. But let's get into it here. Smoking gun email reveals how Hunter Biden introduced Ukrainian businessman to VP dad. Dun dun dun! Hunter Biden introduced his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, you might have heard of him, to a top executive at Ukrainian energy firm less than a year before the elder Biden pressured government officials in Ukraine into firing a prosecutor who was investigating the company, according to emails obtained by the Post. Well, that sounds pretty shady. The never-before-revealed meeting is mentioned in a message of appreciation that Vadim Pozarsky... Listen, I'm a quarter Ukrainian, but sometimes these fucking names get a little bit obscure with their love of harsh consonants. Too many Z's, Y's, K's. Fucking get your shit together. An advisor on the board of Burisma allegedly Burisma's the name of the energy company that Hunter had his energy position with. Allegedly sent Hunter Biden on April 17th, 2015. About a year after Hunter joined the Burisma board at a reported salary of up to $50,000 a month, $600,000 a year to not be able to speak Ukrainian. But I wonder if he rolls a mean cabbage roll. Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to DC and giving an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together. It's really an honor and pleasure, the email reads. An earlier email from May 2014 shows Pozarsky, reportedly Burisma's number 3 executive. Oh, okay, so, props to Hunter. At least he pursued the right characters in the company. He didn't, try to fuck the girl in the mailroom. I'm sure that'll eventually come out. Asking Hunter for advice on how you could use your influence in the company's behalf. The blockbuster correspondence, which flies in the face of Joe Biden's claim that he's never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings. Look, here's the deal. We don't deal with Ukrainians until the proof comes out, then we'll just ignore it. Is contained in a massive data trove of data recovered from a laptop computer. And right there's the email correspondence in full. The computer was dropped off at a repair shop in Biden's home state of Delaware in April 2019, according to the store's owner. Oh my god, this guy's a total fucking retard. If you have sensitive information like that can very much incriminate your father, who holds the second highest office in the land, and some pictures that we'll get into shortly because, they're just, vintage Hunter. Why the fuck would you take it to a public repair place? Fucking just do crack on the weekends like Rob Ford used to, you moron. Other material extracted from the computer includes a raunchy 12-minute video that appears to show Hunter, who's admitted struggling with addiction problems, smoking crack while engaging in a sex act with an unidentified woman, as well as numerous other sexually explicit images. The guy's a fucking legend. The customer who brought in the water-damaged MacBook Pro for repaired never paid for the service or retrieved it, or a hard drive on which the contents were stored, according to the shop's owner, who said he tried repeatedly to contact the client. The shop owner couldn't positively identify the customer as Hunter Biden, but said the laptop bore a sticker from the Beau Biden Foundation, named after Hunter's late brother and former Delaware Attorney General. I got a sidebar here for a second. I hate the fact that both of those Bidens like to stand on the grave of Beau Biden. For all accounts, he seemed like a really decent dude, the absolute polar opposite. It's like the bizarro version of Hunter. He seemed like a pretty on-the-level dude, served in the military, and would probably be in the spot that his old man Joe's in right now, running against Trump for all intents and purposes, had terminal cancer not taken his life. But these guys love to stand behind him, thinking that it's some sort of a shield, kind of like a senatorial candidate over in Arizona. Mark Kelly loves to stand behind his gun-grabbing wife in order to push his agenda of some of the severest gun laws possible in a state that's fundamentally redder than Wolf Blitzer's underwear after yesterday's meeting with Nancy Pelosi. Photos of a Delaware federal subpoena given to the Post show that both the computer and the hard drive were seized by the FBI in December, after shop owners says he alerted the feds to their existence. Some people have wanted to criticize the FBI, the fact that they've had this information since December. I'm not going to be so hard on them. I think that they had to make sure that this positively checked out, that it was in fact Hunter and that it wasn't doctored photos, and they needed to run all their analysis. And plus, it probably wasn't exactly pushed to the front of the queue, knowing FBI's more pro-democratic stance, if you pick up what I'm putting down. So yeah, then we got the photos of the subpoena here for the computer, and yeah. So they couldn't positively identify that the person who brought in the MacBook for repair was Hunter Biden, but as we see here, his name is right there on the bill, so it's fair to say, unless this was a really long-term cover-up attempt, I think everything checks out, honestly. But before turning over the gear, the shop owner says he made a copy of the hard drive and later gave it to former Mayor Rudy Giuliani's lawyer, Robert Costello. I don't know how to feel about that one. I understand you see some illegal shit on somebody else's hardware, but doesn't that kind of break some sort of a confidentiality thing that you should have with a repairman? I'm not exactly 100% sure on the law, but once again, Hunter really should have taken advantage of his political affiliations and took it to the FBI's IT guy. Steve Bannon, former advisor to President Trump, a noted anti-Semite. Well, this is the Post, so they wouldn't slander him. By the way, Steve Bannon's a fucking great shit poster, so I will not hear anything to the contrary. Told the Post about the existence of a hard drive in late September, and Giuliani provided the Post with a copy of it on Sunday. Oh, so the Post has just been hanging on to this one since Sunday. Known of the hard drive itself, so Giuliani was probably, being a lawyer and being the single reason that New York City was in fact a flourishing community for the aftermath of 9/11, went back and did his homework to make sure that this wasn't some kind of a bunk claim, I'd imagine. And of course, Steve Bannon, the orchestrator of the 2016 campaign for Trump, knew damn right that this was probably the most opportune time to drop these revelations. Less than 8 months after Pozharskyi thanked Hunter Biden for the introduction to his dad, the then vice president admittedly pressured Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko and Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk into getting rid of Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin. I bet you he found it shocking. By threatening to withhold a $1 billion U.S. loan guarantee during a December 2015 trip to Kiev. I looked at them and said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor is not fired, you're not getting the money, Biden infamously bragged to the Council on Foreign Relations in 2018. Huh. Well, son of a bitch, he got fired. Shokin has said that at the time of his firing in March 2016, he'd made specific plans to investigate Burisma, that included interrogations and other crime investigation procedures to all members of the executive board, including Hunter Biden. Oof, Godspeed to this man. I should have looked into if he is still currently with us, or if he had an unfortunate helicopter ride. Joe Biden has insisted that the U.S. wanted Shokin removed over corruption concerns. Oh, where have we heard that one before? Which were shared by the European Union. Oh, that globalist cabal of corrupt dickheads who didn't want an army in name, but desperately wanted some kind of a military force. The European Union is the most corrupt form of government, however you want to categorize them, just a loose association of assholes that are actively trying to enslave most countries on the European continent who are in a tough spot at the moment, and are also governed by complete pansies, Emmanuel Macron and everybody's least favorite grandmother, Angela Merkel, who's really pulling the strings for the EU anyways. But let's not stray too far into Alex Jonesian levels of globalist conspiratorials. We got some Eastern European shit here to parse out. Meanwhile, an email dated May 12th, 2014, shortly after Hunter Biden joined the Burisma board, shows Polharski attempting to get him to use his political leverage to help the company. The message had the subject line "urgent issue" and was also sent to Hunter Biden's business partner, Devon Archer, who also sat on the Burisma board at the time. And here's the full letter, but the New York Post has done a great job of summarizing this as well, and we'll take a look at that. Poharski said the representatives of the new authorities in power tend to quite aggressively approach NZ unofficially with the aim to obtain cash for him. NZ isn't identified in the email, but appears to be a reference to Burisma founder Mikolai Zlochevsky, Milosevic, something like that, Pierogi, Kubasa, whose first name is a Ukrainian version of Nicholas. I can confirm Ukrainians are fairly weird with their language. When the alleged shakedown failed, they proceed with concrete action in the form of one or more pre-trial proceedings. Pozarski wrote, "We urgently need your advice on how you could use your influence to convey a message, signal, etc. to stop what we consider to be politically motivated actions," he added. Hunter responded by saying he was with Archer in Doha, Qatar, and asked for more information about the formal, if any, accusations being made against Burisma, who is ultimately behind these attacks on the company, who in the current interim government could put an end to such attacks, he asked. The exchange came the same day that Burisma announced it had expanded its board of directors by adding Hunter Biden. Oh, who would have thought that? Who is put in charge of the legal unit and will provide support for the company among international organizations. What the fuck does that mean? So you want a crackhead in charge of your lawyers? I think that's what that eventually kind of works out to be, according to a news release that has since been scrubbed from Burisma's website. I wonder why. Hunter actually joined the board in April 2014, according to multiple reports. That would be why. His lawyers said last year that Hunter was not a member of the management team. Hunter Biden, who is put in charge of its legal unit and will provide support for the company among international organizations. Okay, just needed to make sure because sometimes my mind does some weird things. Adding, at no time was Hunter in charge of the company's legal affairs. Legal unit and will provide... okay, we get it. About 4 months after Hunter Biden's correspondence with Polharski, Archer forwarded Hunter Biden an email chain with the subject line "Tax Raise Impact on Burisma Production," which included Polharski saying that the Ukrainian cabinet had submitted new tax legislation to the country's parliament. And here were some nice wholesome pictures that were on a laptop that was sent there, you know, just, I don't know, just kind of making him look like a human being. Always strikes me as so weird that Joe back in the, 80s? I'll say 80s, always had less hair than he does right now. I don't know, he doesn't even try to hide it. Fucking weirdo. If enacted, this law would kill the entire private gas production sector in the bud. If enacted, this law would kill the entire private gas production sector in the bud, Polharski wrote. Once again, it's probably through Google Translate or something. In the September 24th, 2014 email, Polharski also said he was going to share this information with the U.S. Embassy here in Kiev, as well as the office of Mr. Amos Hochstein in the States. At the time, Hochstein was the State Department's newly appointed special envoy and coordinator for international energy affairs. Dude, thank God he is Hunter Biden and not Hunter Clinton, because we would have never known about Viktor Poharsky. At the time, in December 2017, the NATO Gaz Group, Ukraine's state-owned energy company, announced that Hoshtein had joined the company as an independent director, but on Monday he announced his resignation. All of this shit is seeming so goddamn corrupt. You can see why Ukraine just went under a revolution because of political corruptness. The company has been forced to spend endless amounts of time combating political pressure and efforts by oligarchs to enrich themselves through questionable transactions, Hoshtein wrote in an op-ed published by the Kiev Post. In addition to denying that he spoke to Hunter Biden about his overseas business dealing, Joe Biden has repeatedly denied any conflict of interest or wrongdoing by either of them involving Burisma. Well, I think we can go back to take a look at the, well, that son of a bitch should be fired clip back in 2018. And that crazy old fucker had the balls to deny it on stage at the first and quite possibly only presidential debate. But I'm sure that won't be a topic that comes up tomorrow in his town hall on ABC? I think it's ABC. Last February, he got testy during an appearance on NBC Today. Ooh, did he whip it out? When co-host Savannah Guthrie questioned whether it was wrong for Hunter to take the position, knowing that it was really because the company wanted access to you. Well, that's not true. Look, here's the deal. You're saying things you don't know what you're talking about. Come on, man. And then we get to the main event. These are all the worthwhile pictures that were recovered from the laptop. Apparently Hunter's quite the impressionist, trying to do Tony Soprano. Oh, at least he's a modest man in that one. Ah, he's getting his motorcycle ready, doing his James Dunce impression. And of course, the main event. Gee, maybe he's sick. Is that one of those new Vicks applicators? I'm not too sure, but maybe he's just got a sore throat. Maybe he's got something lodged in his tonsils. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide. Last December, Joe Biden also lashed out at the Democratic primary town hall event in Iowa when a man accused him of sending Hunter to Ukraine to get a job and work for a gas company. He had no experience with gas or nothing, but he's full of hot air. In order to get access to ... the president? You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one ever said that, Biden fumed. Should we go back to the quote? Should we? Legal counsel. Yeah, something like that. Then in one of Joe Biden's classic moments of this campaign so far, Biden then continued berating the man as he stepped forward, calling the man fat. Scott Steiner somewhere is very proud. And challenged him to do push-ups together, man. Oh my god, maybe that's why Joe Biden thought one of those softball interviews, I forget which Alphabet Soup network it was, when he accused the black guy of saying, did you do crack before this? Come on, man, don't ask me that question. Oh, the mental aptitude test. Yeah, asking the black guy if he smoked crack, probably because he can try to relate to him based on the actions of his son. So no, that was quite a big data dump, but it's very important, and you won't hear it anywhere else. And if you're hearing this, if it doesn't get fucking yeeted off the internet, thanks for searching me out, by the way, and I really appreciate that. And it's very, very important information that I'm sure won't get brought up in the next presidential debate that probably won't get canceled, right? Right? Yeah, exactly. No, this information's just getting fucking chapter 7 right off the internet. Because Twitter, Facebook censor posts over Hunter Biden expose. That's why I wanted to read all of that out for you guys, because both Twitter and Facebook took extraordinary censorship measures against the Post, the New York Post, on Wednesday over its expose about Hunter Biden's emails. They leveled baseless accusations that the reports used hacked materials. That's always a dead giveaway when they don't want to dispute the facts of the information that you're presenting. They just want to say that it was illegally obtained. That's exactly what they did with the Hillary Clinton email leaks back for WikiLeaks. Oh, these were illegally obtained. Well, did you still give yourself improper access to places like Goldman Sachs? And did you say that you wanted open borders? Those were illegally obtained. You're not allowed to look at those, according to Chris Cuomo. Remember his classic quote? Yeah, you're not allowed to look at these. We are, because we're the press, and we have certain protections that you plebs don't have. CNN has always sucked at everything that they've ever done. So yes, please do support the Post after this, because they've done a tremendous job. But since the time that I was originally going to record this, a new story came out. Somebody actually had the balls to question the Joe Biden campaign about whether the certain meetings, the one that was originally referenced there, thanks for allowing us to meet with your father when Joe Biden was vice president there at the beginning of the story. And they actually had a comment for it. Biden campaign says Burisma meeting not on official schedule. Oh, well, that does it. That means that it's all okay. We're done here, folks. Okay, thanks. Nice talking to you today. Okay, we're done. Because let's be honest, Joe Biden's the most honest, hardworking, blue-collar candidate. He is from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he is all about the working class individual. The working class individual, whether you are in Beijing or whether you're in Zhejiang province, he is all about the working individual. I know what I said. So yeah, that's the big story of the day. And you aren't going to hear it on any 6 o'clock news. You aren't going to hear any of the alphabet soup networks out there. And it doesn't matter how loud and persistent Fox News is about screaming this out there. Yeah, you drop a link to the original or any of these other New York Post articles and it gets fucking yeeted right off of Twitter. Or, yeah, and Facebook is running around censoring the shit, saying that, oh, actually, we aren't going to pull it off there. We're just going to make sure that its distribution is not readily available for you out there. That's why we need to make all these social media firms publishers, and we need to make them not responsible for the posts that go up there, and only have them remove illegal content. And by illegal content, I mean things that call for an incitement to violence, and anything else that is covered by legal law in the United States, where Twitter and Facebook are all founded and headquartered. Anything outside of that should be fair fucking game. Because if you get rid of 230, like Trump has trumpeted on a fair amount of tweets here lately, what you're going to end up with is these public social media platforms calling themselves publishers, and then they get to exclusively curate who gets to put out information there. Places like Parler would be fine. Places like all the other alt-tech sites, Minds, and so forth, they'd be fine with it. But you're going to think that anybody who doesn't have a blue check mark next to their name, who doesn't write for one of these rags like the New York Times or Washington Post, do you think that they're just going to have the exclusive access to Twitter? Do you think anybody like me or any other independent content creators out there are going to be able to speak freely? And YouTube, yeah, you can forget about my content on here. You can forget about anything that doesn't have a CNN logo on the bottom third or doesn't have a perfectly acceptable mainstream media narrative to it. It's not going to exist anywhere, so don't get rid of Section 230. The only reason this channel exists is because that is there. And I know that I'm swimming up against the stream right now, but yeah, man, 4 more years of Trump. Plain and simple. If you don't want somebody who wants widespread censorship, then the choice is very, very clear. You want Donald Trump. But of course, it's completely up to you if you want to support a candidate who is conspired with Russia, conspired with the Ukraine, kept kids in cages at the border, compromised the FBI and the CIA and most of the intelligence community. By all means, vote for the current Democratic Party. And just a little prediction here at the end, I'd be very, very thankful because this is going to be a beast of a video if anybody else is sticking around. But my prediction for the 24 election, when the Democrats have to put together some sort of a ticket, it is going to get farther left. And brace yourself for presidential candidate Alexandria Ocasio-Chavez. But oh, I can't wait for that shit. Anyways, this video's been going on a lot longer than I anticipated, but it all was good information, and you need to know about it, because if you aren't searching it out, you won't find it, because this will not be on any mainstream network show tonight. It is going to get tossed over the bridge like a Ted Kennedy dinner date, or for that matter, a Biden son that doesn't have a perfect alliteration. But I thank you all for the gift of your time, and I've been Don Consuelo, and I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.